Hi, it's Magdalena here, Ujima Radio and 411MixTV. Today we are in Trinity and upstairs we are with Shahid. Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Can you tell us a bit more about this exhibition and also about your work? Who are you?
I'm Ded Posh, a graffiti artist, community youth worker and activist as well. We're here in solidarity with the Palestinians today. In 1948, on this particular day, on the 15th of May, is an event known as the Nakba, which means the catastrophe in Arabic. It represents the day when the Palestinians were forced to leave their homes. And what they did was they locked up they locked their houses in anticipation of being able to return. And unfortunately they didn't get the right to return, which is still a contentious issue today. Yesterday there was a peace vigil in Broadmead in the centre of Bristol, and people were invited to hang their own keys on a washing line and write messages of solidarity on these keys here. So we brought them here to allow them to be displayed and read over a longer period of time where they won't get taken down by the public. We also thought this was a perfect time to actually showcase the largest aerosol art painting that I've completed to date on canvas, which was based on Picasso's Guernica. As part of an aid convoy, the Road to Hope, which left Bristol on the 10th of October and got into Gaza on the 25th of November, we encountered so much struggle, but when we got there we saw the abandoned buildings. Well, they weren't abandoned, they were completely destroyed, decimated. I mean, it was whatever was left over from the Operation Cast-Lead, which is what this piece is about. We painted this piece in freezing cold winter. We had about 60 people turn up, and we just set up a cinema screen and we showed the film To Shoot an Elephant, which follows a Western paramedic going around Gaza. Initially, that film was intended to be just documenting how Gazan paramedics operate and stuff. But when Cast-Lead kicked off, they really got into the action, and they covered a lot of horrific incidents as well, including violations of international law, like the firing of white phosphorus and the bombing of the UN hospital, which is documented in this piece as well.
As we know, Israeli army, they got very good equipment, and it's hard to believe that they missed the targets, and it should be it was a purpose. Yes, they've done it. That's what many people believe.
Targeted civilians and children. 437 children were killed during the Operation Cast-Lead. There's a child in there who's sort of been cradled by his mother, a dead child, and that represents the 437 children that lost their lives. The golden horse in the middle, following on the same composition lines as Picasso's Guernica, represents the UN hospital and how it was a blatant disregard of humanitarian law. They knew the coordinates of this building. They knew that this building, people fled to this building to actually escape the terror and torture, and there were critically injured people in there, that represents the devastation and carnage.
Yes, the 2nd of July is going to be Bristol crew. They're going to go actually to Gaza and try to help them by different kind of projects, yes?
Yes, this is a completely humanitarian project. Essentially, this is the first trade mission into Palestine. What we're doing is we're actually joining a convoy headed by Ken O'Keefe, an activist and organiser of this particular convoy, and along with grassroots organisations in the UK, we're actually all going out in solidarity with the Samuni family.
How many people going to go there?
We have no idea. Hopefully we'll have as many people as possible. We're travelling through Northern Europe to get there, which is the safest route. The last route we took was through North Africa, which proved to be quite tumultuous. The Egyptians under Mubarak's regime did not allow us to pass through the border, so we were stuck in Libya for a month whilst we were waiting. 13 people got put on a no-fly list, and there was a hostage situation where 9 of our crew were taken hostage and taken to Greece on a ship. Despite all that, we managed to get in. We only got 3 days in there, which wasn't enough to actually to complete our work. But I actually used graffiti as a positive means in there. I managed to sneak some paint in, and what we did on.
How did you do that?
I put it at the very most hardest point to reach in the largest vehicle, so they would have had to go through a lot to actually find it. I got footage on the board of them actually opening the truck, looking inside, going. And closing it, I was like, yes, it's in. It got in. In Gaza, there's a fantastic amount of artists, and that's what the Arts for Gaza project is trying to do. We're trying to find and raise awareness of as many artists as possible within the Gaza Strip. And what we'd like to do is curate exhibitions like this one here in Gaza to support the art scene, to give it a bit of a jump start. And also, what we don't want to do is go in and say, oh, look, we're Western heroes and we're going to save you, because they don't need saving. Yeah. In the future, we want to bring Gazans here as well. We want to create a Bristol Gaza link. We're applying for funding as well to do this, where we want to set up art competitions and pay Palestinian artists to teach art therapy to the young people in Gaza. And then eventually we want to bring them over here to showcase their work through media as well. We want to make books and we want to make DVDs of their work.
I heard that you're gonna find like the best artist in Palestine, and you want to bring him and make his exhibition here. Is that true?
That's true, yeah. And we want to push them as well. We want to push them to make the best work possible, the most expressive.
Them, yes.
Of course. We want to take them around Europe as part of a sort of an exhibition lecture tour as well, you know, to really publicise their work and give them the self-confidence they need and the self-determination that they truly want. And we want to support them in every way possible. And we've got a plan to take 5 Palestinian artists, starting in Bristol and going through Europe, through major sort of artistic cultural centres, and we want to take them and show them sort of the cultural side of Europe, to give them a breath of fresh air, to give them a taste of something new, and to sort of give them a chance to express themselves in a different way. You know, like it is. We've seen.
Is that going to be easy for them to actually escape from Palestine? Because as we know, it's hard for them to actually travel. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to get them out from that country?
We're just going to hassle a lot of MPs and a lot of public figures. We're just going to keep campaigning.
The thing I wanted to ask you as well, because we know in Palestine the situation is really difficult for people there, and this is quite amazing that people who are struggling with normal life, they still want to do art, and do you think it's some kind of escape for them?
Yeah, it's definitely a form of escapism. You know, art therapy is a definite tool to overcome things, because we can express things through art that we can't normally express through words as well. You know, it has a powerful emotive quality to be able to leave the bags at the door and to draw anything you like. You know, that's what I'm personally looking forward to this, just to see the variety of expression that can come out of Palestine. I've heard so many good things about the art scene in Palestine, and I really want it to flourish. You know, I really want to give them the chance to actually express themselves, because they have a right to, just like everybody else. And the first thing to do is to set the exhibition up in Gaza, to prove to the Gazans that it is a viable art form, and to support them in that end. And then eventually set up arts competitions, regular competitions, so that they can enter and they can celebrate this. You know, they can celebrate their creativity and their spontaneity. You know, because there are creative types there. You know, there's creative types everywhere. Yes. And I think the struggle gives them a lot of energy to put into it as well. You know, like there's a very good base for them to actually start from. They've got a lot of things to talk about and to express, and it's what we want to do is find the more positive stories of Palestine as well. We want to see the stuff that the media generally doesn't cover.
We know that a lot of medias they like to show very negative images from all parts of the world, and also the negative stories. So it's amazing that you're doing something very positive for them and also for the rest of the world, because you inform the rest of the world what's really going on there.
Yeah, sure. The most important thing is awareness for these people. They need other people to know that what is happening is actually wrong, and they need to know that people are standing in solidarity with them. And I've personally said to them that, you know, from fundraising as well, from being out there as a public face, talking to people about these kind of issues, you realise how much support there is for Palestine. And I've actually expressed this personally to the Palestinian people, and they've been really grateful for this. And every time we set up an exhibition like this, you know, I'm in regular contact with people through social networking sites in Gaza, and they do really appreciate this kind of work. You know, it may seem like such a small thing here with not many people turning up, but they really appreciate it. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing, is to keep them happy. And that's where I stand on it. You know, if I can make people happy with my artwork, and that at the end of the day is the most important thing for me. And that's the most purely humanitarian form of art I can imagine, and that's what I describe myself as, a humanitarian artist, really.
That's great. I really like, you know, when you're talking about it, your face is just beautiful and smiling, and, you know, with so many expressions. I really like it.
Thank you.